But with wine, you don't know. You don't know if yellow dye number 5 is in there or not. That's the thing. And so unless you really understand your producer inside and out and how the process of winemaking actually works, you're kind of in the dark if you want to drink healthy and kind of live up to the adage that a glass of red wine a night is healthy, right? Which is what doctors have been saying for years. And it's really, like it is with
Maybe
food.
A bottle for some of us. Let's not judge a lot of our listeners are the
No, it's like know where your food comes from. Well, look, man, I went to In-N-Out Burger the other day. I'll eat a bag of Doritos without, with in a heartbeat. But when it came to taking a stance on my own wine club, I feel like the fundamental difference is with wine is, and this is something that a French producer said to me, and it really resonated, is wine's not solving any world hunger problems, yet we're taking up acreage for it. And so how much more do we have a responsibility to farm respectfully and treat it respectfully in the cellar, And so that stuck with me. And so I launched on organic. But then it became, having traveled to all these people, I really wanted to understand their process. So I created custom collaborations. So what that means is the wines that we offer to the wine club are special. And it's not just special for the sake of being special. We literally take a blueprint before harvest with each winemaker and say, this is kind of what I want to attack, this idea. Can we do this in the cellar? Can we choose this parcel? Can we choose these specific barrels? Can we work towards this specific style of wine? And I do it with winemakers that I know really well. And so now there's these ongoing collaborations with Viticole, with some of my heroes. I can't believe I get to work with these winemakers, but they allow me into the cellar and they allow me into the vineyards. I understand their process so much more because of this. And we start to push ideas. And so the question started with, I want to drink what I like and I want others to share in that. And now it's like, can we push the envelope of what we like to drink, and can we like it even more? And so, there's a lot of really fun sense of adventure in the wine club, and the winemakers that I collaborate with, they're really like creative and open to positive experimentation and pushing ideas forward. So that's a lot of fun. So Viticole is
that sounds like a lot of fun, dude. Traveling around, getting to hang out with obviously some guys that you're big fans of, and you get to be passionate about what you're putting out there as well. That's awesome.
It's a rich life, and I work with this producer in Spain called Galicia, in Spain called Vinate, and their wineries in Galicia. And the first time I flew in, first time I've been to Spain, we go to lunch. Lunch was 9 hours, 24 bottles, 6 people.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's
sunset, and it was over. That was my introduction to Spain right there. So it gets wild. But those moments, they sound like raucous and ridiculous. But in that time, I learned so much. When I wake up in the morning and the fog clears, I wake up realizing, oh man, they really like this bottle. They really like that bottle, which means they're probably into this. And so all of a sudden, like something hatches out of like pure debauchery. And we start to get in the cellar and feel each other out, that we're like, wow, okay, this parcel over here is on granite and this one is on a schist soil. Have you ever isolated the granite and just done it similar? And they're like, no, but we've been thinking about doing it. I'm like, you want to do it? Let's do it. And so we do it. And I know that sounds geeky. We're talking about rocks and stuff, but a wine on granite and a wine on another soil tastes completely different. Soil affects things tremendously. So it's fun. It's fun for them. It's fun for us. And we're all learning together. And that's the beauty of it.
Right. So would you say what kind of separates your wine club from others is the fact that you're so hands-on and that you vouch for these wineries?
Not just hiding behind a keyboard.
Right, or not just saying like, hey, this is a great bottle of wine, here you go. It's more of like, look, I know these guys, we're supporting good things, we're making things happen.
And we're making good wine while we're doing it because you're hands-on in the process.
100%. But it's really, that's just, I think, more of a consequence of my path. It's like it's a vanity project. I'm asking myself, what am I interested in doing? I'm interested in traveling. I'm interested in learning a new language. I'm interested in understanding how these people do things. So I'm making decisions in the business that are enriching for me. I mean, it's completely selfish, but who benefits from it? I certainly hope. I definitely benefit from it. I want to drink well and have that be the consequence. And I think that's what everybody in the wine club wants too. But yeah, man, I'm having fun and learning. And so now it's been, the last podcast we did was on climate change.
Well,
Because I want to learn. I went to NASA to interview a climate scientist. I can't believe it, man.
Isn't it cool though? Like these podcasts will just open up doors and you get to talk to like fucking incredibly intelligent folks that, you learn something new every day when you get to do these. I couldn't agree more.
The thing is, I can't get people in the wine industry to call me back, but you find the leading climate scientists in the world, and they are so happy to hear from you. You know what I mean?
Because did anyone at NASA recognize you? Like, oh, I've seen that guy.
I think he had seen the film before. He happened to be really into wine. I don't think that hurt. But this guy was a PhD. He's on another level, but he actually studied wine and climate change before he went to NASA. So they've been building out these models of where certain grapes are going based on, what the models say about where warming is going. And so the question becomes, can we grow Cabernet in Napa? Can we grow Pinot Noir in Oregon and Sonoma? How long? Is there an expiration date? And so if there is, it's like, let's get ahead of this and figure out how we can adapt in the vineyard, what ways we can mitigate, et cetera. And that's huge for me. Like I feel like we haven't taken a stance, in the wine world. It kind of goes back to we're not solving world hunger with wine. So these are really important topics that I think our industry needs to get on, because the reality is ag is a big part of this issue, but a corn farmer doesn't really have a platform. Wine might be a tiny, tiny part and blip on the radar of agriculture, but we have a giant social platform. The world has heard of champagne, and so because of that, we can really take a stance on bringing these issues to light.
It's wild that you talk about like agriculture and how those people kind of influence it, because in France, when they were having some big crisis in the 1800s, it was a Texan who saved their vineyards. Wasn't there? Do you know about this?
No, but I'm not surprised at all.
Thomas, have you ever heard? So I'm just trying to nerd out here with you because you might know this, but it's this Thomas Volney Munson. He grafted Texan vines and saved the French wine industry from total collapse.
Oh, was this from Phylloxera? Was he the guy who sent the American rootstock over to France?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know who the dude was, but I know. So most of Europe is not on its own root systems. All the vines, they're on American rootstock, and the vines have been grafted onto it because of this pesky aphid called Phylloxera, which was like a World War Z pandemic for wine. It destroyed. Wine was a third of France's economy back in the 1880s, and they couldn't figure out how to fix it. Vines were just dying.
Oh, dude, I'll have to send you this podcast where they talk about this Texan.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So great. I didn't know he was a Texan.
I think he's our food buff. And so he actually listened. He heard you hear it on a food podcast. Is that where?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. But you mentioned, things like France, and I know that I guess viticole is wine in French. Is that correct?
Yeah, so viti means pertaining to grapevines, and cole just means the study of them, essentially. So, yeah, it's a study of wine growing, and so a lot of producers in France, they go to wine growing school, and a lot of them are called like Lycée Viticole. And then when you open up the vineyard maps, you see like viticole across the maps in France, and I kept seeing that word, and I liked it when I was kind of R&Ding the wine club, and I just threw it into a list of different words, and it kept jumping. So I went with it.
So France puts the jelly in your donut, is what you're saying. Like, is that like your, if you're going to vacation to drink some, wine that is obviously not yours, and you do it for R&D and things of that nature. You mentioned Spain and things like that, but France is your jam. Is that what I'm gathering?
A lot of France is my jam. Yeah, definitely. And I like anybody, I pick and choose pockets and specific producers that I like. But it's, it's starting to branch out because my palate starts to branch out. I love Austrian Riesling. I love certain wines from the Canary Islands. Yeah.
So would you call yourself a new or old world guy? That's funny. I stole that from one of y'all's movies.
Well, the funny thing is I drink a lot of old world wine, but I drink a lot of new world wine too. And that's in the wine club. I feel like I know. I don't feel like I know. I know we can make wine at that level. We have an isolated example, but I'm a firm believer that we can make wine at that level. And I'm starting to feel it. It's really coming to a part of it.
That's awesome. But, okay, so I don't know how much you know about this, but we kind of prepped you anyway. So our listeners know that we're not totally stupid. We do a little research. We let y'all know what's coming. We're kind of a Colorado-based podcast. We've harped a little bit on that. We usually like to ask some questions. And I know you and your girlfriend, y'all are fairly familiar with the area. She's a native. And so y'all frequent out here. I want to kind of pick your brain on, like, if you're new to the wine scene or if you want to try some cool wines, where a place you go to visit when you're in town? Where would somebody want to go enjoy a nice, bottle of wine? Or where's your jam in Denver?
Oh, in Denver?
Or in Colorado across, I guess, you worked in Aspen as well. So all across Colorado, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I probably, it's so funny. Like, the last few times I've been in Denver, I haven't really balled out with wine. One of the great spots I happen to is Mercantile. Pretty cool. They have a great wine list there. Do an amazing job. But I spent a lot of time in Boulder at Costa. So any of Bobby's restaurants are great for kind of a wine-based purpose, especially if you make the trek up to Boulder. Go visit Bobby. That staff is incredible. And, a lot of my friends who are casual wine lovers, and a lot of industry that got their start in the process. So that's
Frosco's probably top 3 restaurants every year, and then Mercantile, like you mentioned, the Alex Siddell, a friend of the program, he just actually won a James Beard Award for his restaurant work over there. So next time you're in town, we're going to treat you to a bottle of wine. Thank you for giving us some tips, but we'll take you to any of those locations. Yeah,
man, I'm excited. And I'm, excited also, like, in Aspen. Definitely go to the mail. Carlton McCoy is Master Sommelier, runs the list over there. They're amazing people, too. Got to give a shout-out to them. That's like the sommelier mecca, really, for Colorado. Bobby worked as MS. He was the wine director of the Little Mel. And then, Dustin Wilson, is my friend, was there. Richard Betts, another MS. He worked for Little Mel. We all kind of
Say what?
Are you guys getting some?
Yeah, I just recently, just like in the last couple minutes, like last minute after the Frosca thing right there on the Little Nail conversation, we got a little feedback. That may be the casualties of my war I'm having over here.
It sounds like when you guys talk, we're fine, and then the moment I talk,
you're back. It may have been my cell phone was too close or something. I don't know. I just threw it across the room. It may have been also the new PAX pen that I have in my hand. Holy shit. It's the weed pen.
Right on, man.
Holy crap. That's wild. I can't believe that's what we picked. It's because it actually plays off of Wi-Fi. It has an app. So I guess I'll do a free plug for our friends over at PAX Vapor. Go into your local dispensary. Don't be shy. It will kind of throw some interference if you're having a killer conversation about Colorado wines and partying scene. But otherwise, it smokes hella herb and dabs as well. So riddle me this: when's the next time you're going to be coming visiting? You going to come try to ski the mountain? Is that what you were saying? Aspen is the mecca. How often do you get back?
I'm going to try to get some turns in, like right after Christmas. So we're going to spend the holidays with her family in Springs, and then